Here's the amazing stat that I want to tell you guys about and then give you background and context on it. So now 61% of Republicans think that the FBI is manipulating the investigation and setting up Donald Trump. Okay, so that's full-blown mental. 61% of Republicans in this country have lost their mind. I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to give you more numbers in a second. But first, I want to give you the context that, look, guys, if you're skeptical about the powers that be, I hear you, brother, and you're not wrong about that. So if you think, hey, the Pentagon, when they say, well, that looks like a wedding that we bombed, but it's not really a wedding, and you don't trust them right off the gate, bless your heart, you're thinking, okay, that's exactly right. Sometimes it is a wedding, sometimes it's not a wedding. You need all the facts, right? Now, when CNN says, if the Pentagon says it, it must be true, that's frustrating and they lose credibility. When mainstream media tells you that all those billions of dollars that corporate donors give to politicians is just them, caring about the country, it's preposterous. No one believes that outside of cable news, and it insults our intelligence. So if you're skeptical about that, I hear you and you're right, okay? If you're worried about what the deep state used to do, for example, they did assassinations and coups all the time. So yeah, that definitely happened, okay? Does it happen now? It's more of a bureaucracy. But look, you've got to focus your concern and your skepticism about the powerful and the elite in the right way. Because if you do it in the wrong way, you sound and you are mental. So now let's get back to that Trump number. So a couple of new polls out, and Republicans, 75% of them, 3/4 of Republicans think that what Mueller is doing, his investigation, is a quote-unquote witch hunt. So Mueller, a career prosecutor, career government official, former head of the FBI, and everyone who's working with him, all of those career lawyers, all of those career government officials, Mueller, a career Republican. Most of the people working with him, all Republicans, all decided, hey, let's randomly decide to go get the president and make up an investigation and risk our entire careers. Okay, only 13% of Republicans think that it's not a witch hunt. Only 13% think, yeah, no, they're not making everything up. There's some chance that it's real. Okay. But now, look, Mueller's directly going after Trump, so at least I understand that a little bit better. I don't think you've thought through what that actually means, they're calling it a witch hunt, etc. But okay, fine. I don't believe that. I think you're nuts, etc., etc. But I'm going to put that aside, okay? Now let's go to the FBI. 61% of Republicans believe the top law enforcement officials in the country are fabricating evidence and lying and setting up Donald Trump. And 21% aren't sure. They're like 21% say, I don't know, man. Is everyone at the FBI making stuff up out of whole cloth, risking their whole careers, and just inventing evidence because they decided at once that they all don't like Donald Trump, even though most of them are Republicans? When you think about the details, it begins to dawn on you how insane that thought is. 61% say, absolutely, that's exactly what's happening. 21% is like, I don't know, man, it could be that, or it could be that they're actually FBI officials and they're looking at the evidence. Only 17% of Republicans believe that the FBI is on the level. Only 17% of Republicans believe that the top law enforcement in the country, this is the top party that used to be for rule of law, this is the party that at least pretended to be for law enforcement, now say that they believe that the FBI has not made up all of the evidence, that they're not all lying, and that they're not all trying to target Donald Trump. But no, most Republicans, 61%, have lost their minds and say, no, that's right, FBI. Everybody working there got in a room one day and decided, we're just kidding about being Republicans. We were just kidding about being law enforcement. We were just kidding about caring about evidence. All that stuff that the Republicans had said about us before, we were doing all of that before. But then now that Donald Trump's into office, we decided, nope, we're just going to all make up evidence. And if we get caught, we're all going to lose our jobs. And that's all fine because we decided we're going to go target Donald Trump. You have to be crazy to believe that. And yet, 61%, the overwhelming majority of Republicans in this country, are just that crazy. They have lost their minds. So now, the last part of this, guys, propaganda works. He repeats it over and over and over again. And what previously seemed unimaginable in the scope of just a little over a year now is commonplace and now is accepted conventional wisdom among Republican voters. What can't he get them to believe? And if the first step is to destroy belief in the rule of law in this country and to destroy the belief in law enforcement, by the way, why would you want to destroy belief in law enforcement? Well, I mean, if they're doing something wrong, you can say, hey, look, we should fix that, right? Or if you say, no, they're all corrupt and you shouldn't listen to anything law enforcement says, there's some chance that you've broken the law and that's why you don't want anybody to believe in law enforcement. Anyway, but if that's your first step, well, then all the other steps get way easier. Then the path to fascism becomes super easy. Because then once you take over law enforcement and you've corrupted them and you say they're targeting me, I'm going to fire all of them and I'm going to put my political lackeys in there. The next step is locking up your opponents. These guys are hardcore fascists, the Trump administration and all the people that are supporting them. Now they got the voters thinking, yeah, maybe that's not so bad. At least they got the Republican voters thinking that way. By the way, now 25% of independents think that the FBI has gotten together and decided to launch an international conspiracy. Again, risk all of their careers, do something that they've never done before, and just get in a room and decide that they're going to target the most powerful guy in the country. Yeah, that's a brilliant plan. But now 25% of independents believe that. So if this goes unabated for enough time, we will have fascism in this country. I guarantee it. Now, I hope it won't. I don't think it will. I think that this country is strong enough to survive this. But boy, it's going to take all of our effort and energy to make sure that we do enforce the law in this country.